Why is it that you keep interrupting? Why do you keep stopping videos when I'm in the middle of like a classic?
Why do you keep being in the middle of BS?
It's not BS. It's the truth. Sometimes people can't handle it. Anyway.
You, Lieutenant Weinberg.
Movie references and song lyrics. That's my life. What was I saying? Okay, so then I came and visited you again for a week in October, and then went back home. It was really, really rough. We were like, we gotta figure some shit out. We gotta make a decision. Who's going where? Who's moving? Blah, 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 blah. You were like, I'm ready to get the fuck out of Atlanta. So, out of the South. So, I'm about to move out to California. And so, I was like, okay, bet. But you can't move in here because I was staying in my parents' house. So, I had to look for a little spot for us to move in together. And I moved out. I moved into that spot like a week or so before you got there. And then on December, what's the date?
Well, December 26th, I got on a Greyhound bus for 2 days to move across country for
me. And it was the best decision you ever made, babe. Stop playing.
I arrived on December 28th.
Okay.
December 28th, 2005, I arrived at what would be my home for the next 8 years.
And it was rough. It was rough for some of it. Like, I mean, we were hella young. I had never lived with anybody before. Causha had, but
lived with everybody.
You lived with every damn body, all of them.
I'm talking about just humans.
Oh, okay.
I didn't live with all of them.
Anyway, so it was like we were still fairly new. We had only spent time with each other twice. So, and like we had a completely different set of boundaries happening and understandings about things. I wasn't as forthcoming with things, and it was just a mess.
And I was
it was a mess.
Severely.
It was a hot fucking mess. But okay, sorry, go ahead.
No, it was a mess. I was a severely broken, recovering, insecure, just troubled person who tried to fix themselves through others and didn't realize until years later that I couldn't do that. And so I think when you get together with someone at such a young age, I tell everybody break up, because you cannot. So, and we're not going into that story tonight. But you don't know who you are, and I'm not confident in how much I believe that you can figure that out in that type of relationship. But we were young. It was. I hate to sound like an old person, but it was a different time. It just was. I mean, for queer people, for queer Black people, even with just that terminology, right? Like, no, people were not using that back when we first got together. They just weren't. And so, but when we look back now, we talk about it in the sense that we grew up together, and
most definitely we grew up together.
Yeah, and those beginning moments, those were pivotal. I really, really love how we got together, and when people hear the story, they love it because it's such a like age old story, long distance, for like who does that anymore, right? And that's how you met, and no apps, right? No dating apps, no dating websites.
No Tinder.
We didn't meet on any, what were we on back then? Black Planet. But I didn't even get on Black Planet until
and Downlink.
Yeah, but I didn't get on Black Planet or Downlink until I was with you in California. I wasn't even on that. The only thing I was on before that was
MySpace or something?
No, I wasn't even on MySpace. Maybe it was Downlink. Maybe I was on Downlink. That was the only thing. But
okay. I miss Downlink. Downlink was the shit.
I thought somebody bought that recently. Y'all remember Downlink? If anybody know what's going on with Downlink or Black Planet, really hit us up. I know MySpace has had a resurgence.
Insurgents.
That must be them motherfucking insurgents. The motherfucking insurgents then came in and ate up all the cereal.
Anyway. A resurgence. MySpace has a resurgence.
Yeah, people are on MySpace.
I never really
now.
I never fucked with MySpace.
I never had a MySpace, so
I had one, but it was not. I had all that shit. I had Facebook. Of course, I had Facebook. Friendster, High Five.
Man, do you realize that everything that is either that has come and gone throughout our relationship?
That sounds about right, including people. I mean, it's true.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
So yeah, that was our meet story. And all these years later, and we're still met.
We're still met.
I
love you. You love me. We're a happy.
Are you gonna sing this whole song, or do I need to like interject?
Golly, who interrupts Barney?
Me.
That's why you could never be on a kids show.
I could never. I wouldn't last a day. I would scare them. They would start crying because I would be looking at them like, "Are y'all supposed to be doing something, or am I supposed to be? Am I supposed to be cracking jokes to make y'all laugh? Go read a book." Anyway,
so that is our got together story. If anybody has any questions or wants to hear more about any particular part, I mean, like our life after I got out there, because that was interesting. So I told y'all I got out there on December 28th, 2005.
Yeah.
By December 30th, I was second guessing that mother decision.
You weren't alone.
But I'm absolutely now positive in that. Absolutely.
But we second guessed and we kept going. And
chugga. I think I can. I feel like
that's
so
what you used to tell yourself, right?
Absolutely. So much about every time I read that to the preschoolers, I was like, "Yep, I think I can. I think I can." See, because I'm a visionary. So part of the story that we didn't tell, and because we're running out of time, I'm gonna just tell it real quick. Is that
you don't know how to tell a story real quick?
Before,
but all
that
right.
was rude. You're slowing me down. Before Chanel ever came out to visit me, I told Chanel that she was going to be my wife and she was going to have my children. I told her both of those things before I ever saw her. She did not believe me. Now, 15 years later, she sees, as we have continued to say, like in couples therapy and stuff, right? I am the visionary, and you implement, you make it happen and make sure that the implementation happens. And that is incredible. So all we got to do is continue to hold on to
your vision. Hello.
Visions. Well, our visions, but I usually get them before you.
This is true. You do. You get the visions, and then I run with the process.
And then you catch up once the vision comes to fruition. But that's
because I just be chilling. Yeah. Like I don't be trying to figure shit out.
That's something else we should talk about, how different we actually are.
We are.
So we're running out of time. So I'm gonna end this video by saying that thank you for listening, number one, because it's 3 videos. I know it's a lot of history. It's 15 years, also a lot of history.
I'm gonna finish this shot.
Okay. And if y'all have questions about what I just said about dang, what was I just talking about? I forgot.
Visionary.
How different we are.
Oh yeah.
Questions about what things that we're so different on.
You think about me?
Oh, Tyler, here go your Destiny's Child. We're not dressing up, but
no, we're not gonna dress up. Anyway, y'all, we love y'all. Thank y'all for these suggestions. We will see you tomorrow. Peace.